agenda for today. We're just going to be talking about our anti-bullying policies, our school grading policy, so we'll go over Genesis and how to use that, and then just some suggestions on how to help your child in school. So but first, we just wanted to show a quick little video. Show that, here at Iselin, the teachers, counselors, we're all here to help your students, but we also need your help as well, and your involvement really does matter. So we just wanted to start off with that. So all of us here at the counseling department, like I said, it's Ms. Iselin is the 6th grade, I'm the 7th grade counselor, 8th grade is Ms. Roxy, and Ms. Cologne is our student assistant counselor. So we're all here to help your students as well as their teachers and our administrators. So what is bullying? Under the New Jersey laws, any gesture, written or verbal or physical act, or any electronic communication that is reasonably perceived as being motivated by either an actual perceived characteristic such as race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, a mental, physical, or sensory disability, and any other distinguishing characteristic. So this is what we consider under the New Jersey law to be bullying. So in order to be bullying, the conduct must be something that a reasonable person under the circumstances should know would have the effect of physically or emotionally harming the student, or putting a student's property, or putting a student in reasonable fear or harm of himself or herself, his or her property, insulting or putting down a student or group of students, creating a hostile educational environment for the student by interfering with their education, or severely causing physical or emotional harm to the student. So it can be a little confusing. It's very detailed and pretty specific on what bullying is and what it is not. So what does it mean? What does this mean? So a child who's being bullied is the target of unwanted or uninvited aggression by a person who has a desire to hurt someone. It is one-sided, so a child being bullied often has no ability to make it stop. This is not the same thing as conflict. So conflict usually involves 2 or more people who are equally engaged in the behavior and has the ability to make it stop. A school must still address this conduct, but we will follow the policies and rules in the student code of conduct. So a lot of times bullying and conflict can be kind of misunderstood. So this is a definition of what the guidelines that we use when it comes to investigating any bullying incidents that are brought to our attention. So there are 4 types: verbal, physical, social, emotional, cyber being online, social media. So these are the 4 types and the 4 main categories that we look at when we're investigating a bullying incident. Now, a lot of these incidents, we're seeing a rise of it occurring on social media, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. So just a couple tips. The best way to assure your child is safe is to monitor their social media usage and their internet usages and messages on their phones. So having access to their accounts, checking their accounts, seeing who they're messaging and what's being said. Following your children on TikTok, Instagram, and their social media accounts, just to make sure, to see what they're posting, who they're friends with online. We're seeing a rise in these cases where a lot of this is happening online. It's not like how it used to be where it was in person or it was writing notes back and forth. Now it's happening kind of behind the scenes on the internet where they're not at school. If you believe your child is a victim of a bullying incident or there is an incident you would like to report, we do now have a reporting form online for parents and students. It is available on the Iselin Middle School website under the For Parents section, and it will be under Reporting HIB, Harassment, Intimidation, and Bullying. And the yellow box right here, it gives the guidelines of, does it meet the following? So does it meet all of the definition that I explained earlier? Does this incident meet this definition? So this is how you can report any bullying incidents, and they come directly to us, and then we start to investigate and look into these incidents. All right, so moving on from the bullying, I just wanted to talk about a little bit about free and reduced breakfast and lunch. A lot of parents and students don't realize that this might be available to them. So under Genesis, under forms, student data and forms, there are a bunch of different forms that are listed on there, like the technology agreement form, and then also a lunch form. So that's available for all of our parents and students to fill out. And then if it's, determined that you're eligible for it, it will show that your application has been approved for free lunch or reduced lunch, and your student will be able to get lunch or breakfast for free. So definitely something to look at under your forms library on your Genesis Parent Access account. And definitely we strongly recommend filling that out because you might be eligible and not realize it. So definitely have that filled out if you can. And you must apply each school year. So if you're a 6th grade parent and you apply this year, and if you want to have it again for next year, it has to be filled out 7th grade, 8th grade, and so on. So keeping on the theme with Genesis, now talking about grades. It is the parent and guardian's responsibility to check their child's academic progress. It's recommended to check on a weekly basis. So Genesis is updated very frequently, so it's good by the teachers, so it's good to continuously check your Genesis account. All grades, interims, and report cards are posted on the parent portal as well. I also want to also make a comment about how we have a lot of students coming into the office asking for the login information for Genesis. We do not have your Genesis login information, so if that's something that you would like your student to have access to, you will need to provide them with your email and your password to log in. Unfortunately, that is not something that we are able to give out nor give access to. So something to take into consideration. It could be very beneficial for your child to be able to see their grades if they're missing any assignments, but just something to keep in mind if you'd like them to have access. So how to check grades, it's under Genesis. When you go to the Iselin Middle School homepage, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there will be a little icon for Genesis, and that will lead you to the login page. So this is an account you made with your email address and a password you created. If you do not know your password, you can contact the school, and then they will be able to help walk you through the password to get a new password. But this will be the login screen for the parent access for Genesis to check grades. Now again, under Genesis, when you click on your specific student, this is a sample schedule, you go under student data and summary, this is what will show up. So it will show the current grade, so 6th grade for example, and then your student schedule for the whole year. So it'll show semester 1, which goes from the September, so the beginning of the school year, until end of January. This includes quarter 1 and quarter 2, and the E-cycles E1 through E4. And then we have semester 2, which goes from February to June, goes from Q3, Q4, and E5 to E8. And FY is going to mean full year. So our full year classes are going to be math, reading and writing. Our semester courses are social studies and science. And then the E-cycles, that's where they get their electives, orders can be their languages, so Spanish, French. So that is what it will look like on the schedule for Genesis, and these are what the codes mean. So if you would like to check your child's grades for all of their classes, again, in Genesis, if you click on the tab with the arrow right here and it says grading, it will bring you to your student's grades. So as you can see for this student, this example student, we have a schedule here, and then if you see in the first column right here under marking period 1, we have letter grades. So that's going to be for marking period 1. So understanding these grades, semester 1, again, first semester includes marking periods 1 and 2. So we are approaching the end of marking period 2, so we are approaching also the end of semester 1. So those grades will be posted soon. Second semester, that will include the second half of the year, so that will be marking periods 3 and 4. And then again, full year, that's our language arts, math, and also physical education. These are full year classes, and the final grade will be a combination of all 4 marking periods together for these classes. Okay, so bringing it back to this screen with the grading, as you can see with the first column right here where it says marking period 1 right next to the green column, that's the grades for marking period 1, and every column next to it, that will be marking period 2, 3, 4, and then the final grade. So you'll be able to monitor that when it is posted. And these are final grades for the marking period. This is not individual grades for each class. We will get to that in a second. So this is what you will see at the end of each mark, towards the end of each marking period. So marking period dates. Marking period 1 goes from September 7th, so the first day of school, until November 15th. And then report cards are usually posted by November 18th. Marking period 2, which is what we're in right now, that's going to end Monday, January 30th. And then report cards will be posted by February 3rd on Genesis. The marking period 3 will start on Tuesday, the 31st, go until April 4th, and then marking period 4, the end of the school year, will go until June 21st. So you should be expecting an interim report about halfway through each marking period. So when that will be posted on Genesis. So marking period 3, about halfway through the marking period, that's when you should get an interim report for those classes. So interim reports. So again, when you go under grading and you hit the available report cards, this is where you'll be able to see the report card for each marking period and also the interim report. So it'll say IR2, interim report 2, and it'll be listed there for your students to be able to view any grades or comments that teachers leave for the interim. This is our grading system. So from A+ to A-, those grades performance significantly above the curriculum standard. B+ to B-, performance above curriculum. C to D+, performance at curriculum standard. D to D-, performance below, and then 64 to a 0 is no. So if your student receives a P grade, that just means pass. So that means they passed the course. You might not see that, that's not a very common one, but you might see that. I is for incomplete. If there are missing assignments by the time grading is due, your student might receive an I for an incomplete and be expected to hand in some more assignments. And then X is probation. This is given to students who receive an F for the marking period. This gives them an opportunity to receive a failure packet, which will allow them to redo maybe some missing assignments or some extra work to be able to potentially get I think the minimum is or the maximum is at least a D-, so which would be a passing grade. So that would be considered X for probation. So failure, if a student receives 3 Fs in a class, he or she may be required to go to summer school or be retained. So just keep in mind, and we want to make sure that we don't get Fs on our report card, and if we do have a failing grade for the marking period, that if a student does receive a failure packet that they completed so that they can get the X grade, the probationary grade taken off and be given a passing grade if completed. So daily grades, this is where you want to see your child's grade book for each teacher. So when you are under grade book at the top and you go to the summary, This breaks it down, all of the different courses that your student may have. So for example, this schedule has art, it has physical education, it has health, and it shows you the average that they currently have at that time. There is also a way to contact the teacher through here. It gives all direct links to the teacher's emails. So this is a way to contact the teacher. And this is very important. If you're noticing, grades, or you have a question for the teacher, definitely reach out to them. They're more than happy to help you. Here you can view your child's daily grades. It's important to be aware if the child is turning in work. Sometimes, students have missing assignments, so this is good to be checking. You can see all of the courses, different assignments. You mark in period 1, mark in period 2. You can filter it out. You could have it show all assignments, show just missing assignments. So this is a way to kind of filter a little bit more to see specifically into your child's gradebook for each one of their classes. And again, this is under gradebook and under list assignments. So again, this is just another screenshot of if you click on the class, you can see a specific class. If you only want to look at, let's say for example for this student, you just want to look at reading and writing, the honors class, you could click that class, see what their grades are for each individual assignment, if they're missing anything, and just any other grades. And sometimes teachers also leave comments on assignments. So that's also something that you're able to view on the gradebook as well. So to kind of, delve deeper into an example gradebook, this is an example of a teacher's gradebook for a specific class. Anything that's listed as a major assessment is going to be worth about 1/3 of the student's grade for that class. And then minor assessments are broken up by homework and classwork, and then that's about 1/3 each. And that's outlined right here under the category if it's a major or minor. What's really important is this red MI, which means work was not turned in. If there is a missing in that gradebook, that means that student has a 0 for that assignment because it is missing. Once the assignment is turned in, the missing goes away and the new grade gets put in. Again, so just like I said, it's split up by thirds. So major assessment is 1/3, minor assessment, homework, and classwork 1/3 each. So just some suggestions. Check out the teacher's website. So that's under the Iselin Middle School webpage under IMS staff. Each teacher has their own website where they post, assignments and suggestions. So definitely check out those websites online. You can sign up for Remind. A lot of teachers use Remind to send out reminders about assignments, due, tests coming up. So you can sign up for Remind for a specific teacher. Look over your child's Google Classroom. Things are posted on Genesis sometimes, and then most of the time too, they're also posted on Google Classroom. So it's definitely good to be checking both websites, checking grades often, making sure that things are turned in, and check if there are zeros. If there's a 0, more than likely that means something is missing. So definitely talk to your child, talk to your child's teacher. You talk to their counselor as well. We're more than happy to help you figure it out. So definitely be checking if there are zeros. And again, missing assignments counts as zeros in the grade. Read teachers' comments to see if work is being turned in late. A lot of times teachers will leave comments on those to let you know what is going on, if it was attempted, the assignment, or if they're, just letting you know it's missing. So just a couple other suggestions. If your child does not understand the material in their class, you may do a couple of the following. You can contact the teacher, either through email, like I showed you through Genesis, via email, or you can schedule a meeting with the teacher through the school counselor, which is us. And if you need a translator, you can bring a translator if needed. So if you'd like to have a parent-teacher conference, you can reach out to your student's guidance counselor and we can organize either a phone meeting or an in-person meeting, whatever you prefer, to help best meet your needs for your child. And these are some suggestions for your student, for your child. Attending study hall to work on missing work during lunch. We have study hall available for all our students during lunch. It's actually in one of our classrooms right outside of this hallway. This gives them the opportunity to eat lunch, work on any missing assignments, get ahead in class. So it's a great space for students to be able to use. So definitely, we recommend that. They can bring a friend that understands the material. So if they want to, have a tutor, you can pair them with someone that, they might need help with this class. Or they can bring a friend to work on something together, as long as they're working on work. There is also the virtual math homework hotline. So in the evening, there is a Zoom link a couple days a week that some math teachers provide some extra online virtual help for math. So it's definitely a great opportunity for students who might be a little bit confused with math. I can speak for the 7th grade that I know that there is morning math help for the 7th graders. It goes from 7:30 till about 8:05 once block 1 begins. So that's also available for 7th grade. They can also send a counselor request to C form to their counselor. Their forms are found on their grade level Google Classroom, which I'll show you in just a minute. So if they are looking to speak with us about anything, whether it's grades, anything academic, or anything personally, emotionally that they'd like to talk about, they can fill out this request to C form, and we can help them out and help them walk them through that. So that's just some suggestions for our students, and also a couple more suggestions for getting involved for our students. We have a lot of students who are interested in extracurricular activities or being involved in school events. So we recommend having your student listening to the daily morning announcements. It happens every morning after the Pledge of Allegiance, and so they provide some great information about upcoming events, extracurricular activities, and other happenings in the school. So definitely suggest that your child listens to that in the morning. You as parents can also view these morning announcements. They are posted on the Iselin Middle School website under the live feed. So every day, Mrs. Medina or Mrs. Arduini posts these announcements, so you can keep up to date with what clubs are, events are, and other information that might be relevant for your child. This is the counselor request form under their class of 2024, 2025, 2023. It's under classwork. There is the counselor request to see form. So if your student would like to meet with their counselor to talk about their grades, missing assignments, needs some help doing a little bit better in class, or just anything they want to talk about, they can fill out that form on their Google Classroom. So these are just some important websites. These are linked on here. I do have a flyer with the QR codes if you'd like to scan the presentation and you would like to visit these links. These are just some quick links that we notice that a lot of students and parents might be interested in. So just the Iselin Middle School homepage, the staff information websites, the counseling department contact information. We have a direct link to the Genesis Parent Access. Cafeteria and food services, so when it comes to the lunch application, you can also view that link as well. Link directly to the extracurricular activities that we offer and descriptions of them, and also sports physical forms. So if your child is interested in participating in a sport, this link will take them directly to the physical form that they can hand in to the nurse. So these are just some important websites that might be useful for you. We also have, a screenshot of some community services along with a link. So this just gives you some, important resources that might be helpful for you and your family. So this might be a good thing to check out. We also have our Family Success Centers, and again, with links to that if you would like to look at the flyer and scan the QR code. We have a couple in the area that lastly, we also have the Woodbridge Public Library. This is a great, resource for you guys to use. It has the Woodbridge Public Digital Library. If you click on the right here, it gives you some online learning tools, maybe helping your student with assignments and information and articles. Kind of give you some more, information about things that are happening in Woodbridge Township, and that might be useful resources for you. And again, under the Woodbridge Public Library website, under students and educators, there are also some information under here as well. So that concludes our presentation, but I have Ms. Avila here, who is one of our ESL teachers, who would just like to say a few words. So thank you, Ms. Avila.
So my name is Ms. Avila. I'm the 7th grade ESL teacher. I just wanted to speak to the families. A lot of parents will ask the ESL teachers in the school, what is the best way I can help my child at home? And I wanted to say that as far as helping at home, anytime you learn a new language, exposure, so listening to English, whether it's music, TV, even if you're sitting down at the table, having dinner, talking to each other, how was school, what did you eat for lunch? Just speaking the language and practicing at home is the best thing. I understand how it is. I speak 5 languages, reading and writing, so I know how it is to learn another language. And I do have a daughter in middle school also, and we have a bilingual household, so we speak Spanish and English at home. So I understand how important it is to maintain the languages, the cultures, but that would be advice I would give. Ms. Rodriguez did a great job showing the slides with the library information. So again, if you can go on digitally and get access to the library card, your child can go onto the library from home. You don't even have to drive them to the library, and then they can access books at all different levels, comic books, just fun, different things to read about. A lot of ESL support, helpful books are on the digital website also, the library. So that way they can also practice reading at home, because reading is the best thing that they can do as far as listening to English, watching TV in English, talking to friends in English. That's all going to help them, right, to be more proficient in the language. So that's what I wanted to recommend as far as what you can do at home. Also, in school, they have the access to reading apps through Clever. So they can go on to Kids Plus, which is an ESL-specific website. They can access also Newsela and IXL at Home, which again have all these varied levels of vocabulary and reading. So